Welcome to the Allied Angle Client Voices Edition. I'm Amber Guthrie with Allied Solutions. For financial institutions, standing out isn't easy. With so many choices out there, it takes more than a great rate or a clever ad campaign. It's about culture, employees, brand consistency, and the way you show up in your community. In this episode, we'll hear how credit unions are embedding their mission into everything they do, from building employee-first cultures to giving back millions of dollars and thousands of volunteer hours to their communities. Joining me are Brian Best, President and CEO of GTE Financial, and Bruce Brumfield, President and CEO of Founders Credit Union. They'll share the bold decisions and everyday strategies that set their credit unions apart, and how strong partnerships help them stand out in meaningful and lasting ways. What strategic decisions have helped your credit union truly differentiate themselves in the last year?
We are a large philanthropic entity that not only focuses on the membership, but also focuses on the community at hand. We believe that if you're going to enter into a marketplace, you have to make it better than what you first entered it into. And what that means for us is that we give back millions of dollars a year and tens of thousands of dollars of just hours from our employees to help donate time or effort or resources to ensure another 501c3 Boys and Girls Club, something of that nature. We help them stand up and help them keep going forward. And what that does is that our membership sees that and they understand who we are, right? So you can read about what credit union is about, or you can see their actions. And a lot of times seeing is believing. Mm-hmm. And so we do that in our marketplace, and our members understand that. And then our members even help us out when it comes to donating funds to stand up some nonprofit inside our community. And that whole family type of approach is really neat. And so it becomes cultural. But then once it becomes culture, it also becomes sustainable.
We want not only to give money back into those communities, but we want our employees to be present in those communities. We want the communities and the members that live there to understand we have a vested interest in making sure these communities thrive and become places that people want to live, work, raise a family. In today's environment, especially with the younger generation, we find causes are so important to them. You know, well, what's your heartbeat? What's your soul? And they don't really care about the bottom line. They want to know your social heartbeat, your social cause. You've got to try to touch every little area in that community to show that it's important to you and it means something to you and you want to be involved.
How are you building and delivering your brand around mission, value, or experience, and making sure that differentiation shows up across all channels?
Other than safeguarding our members' asset, our brand is the most important thing to us. Mm-hmm. And you've got to constantly work with your marketing and community relation folks to make sure that brand is out first and that people understand what that brand really stands for and what it means. Mm-hmm. Just a conscientious effort on understanding how important that connection with that, not only that current member, but just as importantly, that future member is going to be. And what we've tried to do is touch that demographic group the way they want to be touched. So the way we might promote ourselves to a 25 to 35-year-old is going to be totally different than from a 65 to a 75-year-old.
We focus on the employee first. And so, if we make sure our employees are taken care of, then we know they're going to serve our members correctly. That goes way beyond just pay. It goes into action, goes into cultural components, benefits, 1,000 different things. And we work really, really hard at it. And our employees love what they do, and they love working for GTE. And we have a really good time with it, but we have very active, sustainable strategies when it makes sure that we're not only helping their employees, but we're helping their families at the same time. We live in a very hurricane-driven state, and so when these things start to pop up, we make sure that their families are taken care of, make sure they're taken care of. When it comes to holidays, we make sure that they get the right time off, and we make sure that we do things for their families where most organizations would even think of. They don't work for us, they work with us, but they feel like they belong at the same time.
So do you have a committee of employees that kind of helps give that feedback of
Multiple committees. So we have a Hispanic community. We also have an African American committee, and we also have just a general wellness committee that makes sure that our strategies are relevant and make sense for the people that we serve. And we've done incredibly well with that, and we have a lot of fun.
How are you empowering your employees to live and deliver on your credit union's brand promise and everyday interactions.
We keep our mission statement very simple. It is think member. And we feel like if we're thinking member, then everything that we do, that we say, that we will deliver will be in their best interest. Everybody's main job responsibility throughout our organization, and if you ask any of them what their main job function is they're going to tell you it's to make me look good. And I preach that to them because if they understand they want to make me look good, they're going to do what's in the best interest of that member. They're going to deliver. They're going to go that extra mile. And, sometimes you may have to deliver bad news to members. But you don't have to be all bad news. It could be, listen, we can't do that right now, but if you do this, this, and this, we'll be able to help you. Tailoring that message with that empathy and helping them understand you want to help, but they got to be part of the solution, not just us.
It really comes back to understanding who you are. And then if you understand who you are, you understand how you can serve others better. You have to get past the product piece. You have to really understand who you're serving, what it's going to take in order to make sure that they're better off, and really put real activities and strategy behind that to ensure that it's just not a one product type of service. It's a whole, family, whole, long-term type of effect. So that way, no matter what happens, you're there for them. It's easy to do when you understand who you serve and they're part of that process. Then all of a sudden, the puzzle pieces start to come together a lot easier.
So if there is a CEO out there who is saying we need something different, we need to stand out somehow, do you have a piece of advice of where they should begin or what they should look into to help do that?
Talk to your members and your employees.
They have all the answers.
They see it. They're on the front line, so they understand who's coming in, and they understand their challenges. Make sure it's a reoccurring, repetitive type of process. Just doing it once is not going to really solve anything.
It's not a checkbox.
It's not. And at the same time, be okay with hearing frustration and struggles and those type of things, because those are gifts. You don't always get those gifts, but those are gifts, and it allows you to reshape your business to be more relevant. And at the same time, you can serve them better.
What's one bold move you've made that has really paid off?
I think the boldest move that we made is really not a bold move at all. It's our succession plan. We've had a succession plan for my successor in place for about 7 years, evaluating in-house candidates, reporting back to executive committee, all the way up to selecting my successor, and then a succession plan of getting him ready to assume the responsibilities of our job. There's no need for credit unions to have to go outside to hire people to run their credit union when they really have no idea what the heartbeat and soul of that credit union might be. If you do not have someone on staff currently, or you cannot, get someone ready, then you better bring someone early enough so they can understand your culture. What makes you who you are? What makes your members special? What's different from you than other credit unions out there? Because in some ways, we're all a little bit different. I think that succession plan and how smooth this gone and how smooth this transition is going to be is a bold move on our board to adopt that and not think they have to go out and do a nationwide search.
It's really putting an accountability at all levels of the organization to ensure that they understand their role and how that fits within the overall strategy. But you have to really kind of boil the ocean down for them to understand this is what they do within their role that helps the organization go forward. And then at the same time, we talked about branding, and they understand that the brand is just as strong or as weak as the last conversation they had with the member. Once they understand those pieces, then I think it really starts to help provide incredible momentum of going forward.
Has Allied helped your credit union strengthen its unique position in the market through branding, products, or strategic support?
Allied's always there. It's not something that just comes off and it's easy to say, but there's a lot of hard work from the team at Allied that understands the credit union, understands what you're trying to accomplish, and then they build purpose-built products or solutions in order to help you out in that process. And sometimes it's not given out to the entire industry. It's something just made for GTE or something just made for another organization. But the only way you can do that is if they understand your organization, and they do, and they take the time to do that. And they're not a vendor, they're a partner. They're a partner in the mission, and they understand what it takes.
Do you think Allied relates so well with credit unions because they have that member first mentality as well?
Oh, I think they do. I think the other thing is that they understand the mission. So they really want to understand what you're trying to accomplish and then what the effects of that is. And that's not easy to do. And yet it takes a relationship and a long time in order to understand what you're trying to accomplish. And they do that. They put a lot of process. They have incredible people, incredible team that helps develop the strategies for you. And they're part of the partnership. They understand the credit union movement, and they're not afraid not only to put resources, but to put people in it, which is a beautiful thing.
We depend on Allied. You know, so many things that we do and the way we do them, it would be radically different if we didn't have Allied as the trusted vendor partner that we do. Before we try anything unique and different, we're going to Allied to say, we're thinking about this. Tell us what you think. You know, is this something you might want to partner with us in? Without Allied coming to the table with their transparency pricing, where you know where every dollar that you pay or that your members pay for these products, where it's going. If you don't have that, there's no way we would be in the financial condition to offer some of the products and services we do, because we would be overpaying for an inferior product for our member. I think that's what Allied's competitors are going to realize with this ever-changing landscape. People will look at margins are tight. How do I save money? Well, when you put apples to apples on the table between Allied and their competitors, 9 times out of 10, Allied's going to beat them, not only in price, but in service and quality of product. So we've got to have them.